Roll call.
Chairperson Cordes.
Here.
Vice Chairperson Sandal.
Here.
Members Anderson. Here. Geigel. Fortune.
Here.
Dennis. Here. And Simons. Here.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Anyone have a moment of reflection or prayer?
Lord, thank you for allowing us to serve. Help us to remember to be thoughtful and kind in all of this. Amen.
Amen. Okay. Conflict of interest. None. Okay, go to 6, approve agenda.
I unfortunately have some changes that need to be made. The Cassandra Key cannot be our paraprofessional as her husband is military and they will be moving halfway through the school year. So she's decided not to take the position. And if you go down to 13, she had 4 kids that she was going to open enroll in our school district. So they will not be coming. And then with that, we have no reason for 22. We have no reason to go into exec.
I'll approve the agenda with the changes.
Second,
Second.
then moved and second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, on to 7, new business. Motion to approve.
I make a motion. Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, approve consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second, your second?
Yeah.
Second. Any more discussion?
Is Juliet the only junior class advisor? then?
At this time, I'm working on someone else.
So that's only half of the junior class.
Yes.
Okay.
As per negotiated agreement, 3% for each junior class advisor and then 4% for the concessions manager.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Open forum 4. Have any?
I didn't see.
Okay. Jen's cyber presentation.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
This summer, Madison and I had the opportunity to go to a cyber camp, and it was a week. It was extremely intense and probably one of the best camps I've ever been to. It was awesome. It was when they said it started at 8, went till 5. It generally started at 8, went till 5:30. We had no breaks. We just went hard all day and learned so much. It was fabulous. One of the things sections that I liked a lot was the security section. And I'm just going to go through some of the things that we did. You can ask questions if you'd like, because we're just going to give you a brief overview of what we did for the thing. So for security, one of the sessions that we went to was digital forensics. And what we did there was we went to computers. They gave us computers, so it wasn't anything here. We took a computer and downloaded a bunch of documents, found documents, and then we chose whichever one we wanted and deleted it. and then emptied our garbage, our trash. And then they walked us through going back and recovering the documents that we had lost. So security, kids, nothing is gone. We can always find it. Another one that we did there was the steganography. That's such a hard word. Steganography. We took, no, it doesn't mean what you think it means. We took 2 pictures and we combined the 2 pictures and we hid one picture inside of the other picture. And so all it looked like was one picture, but then we went through the forensics of it. The lady working with us worked for the FBI as a consultant. And we can't have the software used there, but it was amazing to work with. We took the pictures and we compared all the pictures with the size of them, with the JPEGs, and found that this particular picture was larger than it should have been. And then we went in and we had to uncover the picture that was hidden behind it. And it was very, very interesting. Another session was the social engineering. And that went over many of the things that we do, our security testing one here in the school with the fishing and the whaling, spear fishing, different types of it. But something that was very interesting with the presenter was that just that day or the previous day, there was, and you guys might have seen it, there was a video on Facebook of a young girl, a young woman, 15, 18. Yeah. She had been watching and somebody took a little tracker and put it in her car, in the hood part of the car. And so she took it out and she had this video and it was like, look at this right here, they put this in my car and it's a tracker and people could have tracked me and that's bad. And it was bad. And the guy showed there were over 1,000 shares, there were comments, there were this. And he said, guess what? Guess what that young lady just did? And he went in there cold and figured out where she lived, her siblings, probably her mother, he took her video that she had innocently shared and totally figured out so much personal data about her. And that's the part of not being safe that was just amazing for kids. Another part of the security is passwords. And there was a Jack the Ripper and, well, we cracked passwords. We chose passwords that we thought were good, the passwords we use here at the school. Spoiler alert, they're not. We did terrible. Did you have a good password? My password was terrible. It could crack it in like 5 seconds. But we learned a lot about passwords and security and that stuff. And that wasn't even a half a day, the things we learned there. And then we got to the cool stuff. And that was stuff that Madison should be bringing into the classroom. I don't really have the classroom stuff there, but we moved into tons of hands-on and we were soldering and we were building, we were wiring. The first thing probably we moved into, things kids would like, was the AI, the artificial intelligence.
Yeah, so they gave us this like website and we were able to we were supposed to find pictures of cows and sheep, and we just found random pictures from Google, put these pictures in, and the computer itself sorted them. So like, this is a cow, this is a sheep, and because we had so many different types of pictures of them, it knew what to identify.
It wasn't just new, it was learning. We were teaching the computer.
And so then what we got to do is we took a picture of ourselves and put it in there and saw what it would categorize us as.
I was 92% cow.
And I think I was like 98% cow. So, I mean, it was just kind of fun to see, like, also, like, yes, it's a computer. It doesn't know. We taught it that this is a cow and this is a sheep. And then we put ourselves in it and it didn't know anything other than cow and sheep. So it found little pieces of us in the cow, I guess.
Yeah, but that's actually the lesson. We had to write lessons and ready for presentation, to a classroom. And I think that's the one that I did mine on. It was super fun. We got books, we were given books and a lot of resources, and that's the one that I used. We could use it easily in a classroom.
Yeah, one of the best where we had our own competitions here, we learned how to pick locks, and we talked about the physical security and how we could relate that to the students. So yes, there's a cyber security out there, but there's also this physical aspect of it. And so they taught us how to pick some locks, and I was really good at it. And I don't know why, they were a little suspicious of it. And she was in a different group than I was in, and she was apparently really good at in her group. So then we went head to head and I won. And the guy even actually
really
gave us
painful.
like a whole bunch of locks and a whole bunch of picks.
That was stuff there
Just
weren't
because
free
we were
stuff.
really good at it.
They came and gave us our own sets, so if anyone has a car that needs broken into or something, call Madison, not me.
Although I will say that I did try to like pick one of our doors here, and it's a lot harder on our school doors, so we've got some good security around here.
That helps a little bit.
Where did you say this was?
What?
Where was this?
Madison,
Oh,
At DSU. Yeah,
and we stayed in dorms all week and we
slept in the comfiest beds.
so comfy.
Yeah. They actually really good food, I guess, but.
It was quite amazing. And we had a nice vehicle to drive there. We weren't crowded at all in our car.
they do it every year then?
They do, and the best part, we're gonna tell you, spoiler alert, we can't tell you yet, but it's super cool. Tell him, go ahead.
There's, so after our camp ended, the teacher camp, there was a student camp that was coming right after. And they had a few different student camps. There was one that was like just for girls. There was like, I think 2 other sessions, 2 other week-long meals for kids if they were interested, that they could go. But
It was so good. We haven't even got to the cool part yet, guys. I mean, it's so cool. It was such a
yeah,
great
not to
thing.
like just keep talking, but one
Well-
thing that like, so for my room that I plan to bring in with some of our STEM classes and whatever, the Internet of Strings activity, it was a hands-on one that all we need are some little, which we actually found, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Some little, what are they called?
Film
Film
cameras, the
canisters?
film canisters.
Where you stick your roll of film in, whatever.
Yeah.
We need those
A lot
and
of them.
some
Baling
baling
twine.
twine.
They really
And,
use the baling twine.
we use it to teach how the internet works, and our little film canisters are the packets, which is what we would like call the information that
Candy in
sends.
and send it down.
And then we've got little spots around the room that are our servers and our databases, and it just works like a US postal system almost, that it gets sent to one server, it reads it, says, here's where it's supposed to go, so it sends it to the next best one, and there's just a whole bunch around the room. I don't know, we put little pieces of candy in them. And so then once it went to the destination, we were able to open it and see what was inside.
See, and that's something I learned from algebra. Anytime you can take the abstract and make it concrete, kids get it more. And this was totally concrete.
And then, like, if you think about the internet, it's really hard to kind of grasp how it works, and this was a great activity to really see it.
Yeah, and we'd have my packet had to go to number 3. Well, there wasn't baling twine over to number 3. I had to get to the closest one, which might have been 5, and that would only hook up to 7, and that would only, so the more servers you got, the more chance you had of a, breakdown in communication. It was awesome. It really was. But that's not the cool part yet.
So another session that we had was on 3D printers, and with our grant that we got, I think we have a couple 3D printers now. And so he kind of taught us some ins and outs of it, where use this designing website so that you can first plan what you're going to be printing. He gave us some tips on like, don't use this type of plastic, and this is the best plastic, it lasts the longest, and just different little tidbits for that. And we were able to design like a little plate that we could have printed, but it would have took too long.
Yeah, it takes very long to do it. But I think the most important part of that was the design part that we were doing. And he was teaching us how to make, we would just make nameplates there. Much better. I'm not gonna do it. But that was fun.
And then into some other like things that we did with some coding. I will say for one that I went into this with 0 background. I was super nervous about this part of the camp, and I now feel very confident in it. And I'm so surprised to even say that. One of the things we learned about were Raspberry Pis, which I thought was just a food. Turns out it's not. It's like pretty much a little mini computer. We were given some at the camp that are a little bit more advanced, and it's actually got a keyboard on it, and then the Pi is inside of it. And all you need from there is just a monitor. You hook it up, and you've got yourself a computer. And it's a little different, where it's a programming computer, and you can run all these different programs and play different games. They gave us some breadboards, which we went through in stages, where first we just learned the basics of like electronics.
Well, what a breadboard is.
Breadboard, yeah, do you guys know what a breadboard is?
No.
Not that kind.
which again, sounds like food. Turns out the computer world is a lot of food. But it's just a electronic board, and you have some different wires that you put the, obviously the positive in here, and you hook it to the motor, and have a grounded area, and we have a buzzer now, and a light.
We learned wiring, the basics of wiring. We can
Yes.
wire now and make a light go on and off. We can make buzzers go on and off. And by plugging it in and moving it, we can have a circuit. It was super cool, but that's not the cool part.
Yeah, so then they showed us so now we are able to hook it up to our Raspberry Pis and get into our little programming and coding. And now we are coding our breadboard to anytime I press this button, it's gonna flash a light. And
We
then
coded its
anytime I press
behavior.
this and I code this, it's gonna ring a bell. And so we were able to do all this different stuff with our coding into our breadboards. And then from there, we had a program that was called Turtle.
Yeah.
And we were able to incorporate both the breadboard and some more programming, but it was like this little turtle on your screen. And we told it what to do, and we made like a little design. And then we could program its path and where it moved, but we could sync it up to our breadboard. So anytime it went this way, now an alarm went off. And then we programmed it to move over here, and then a light flashed. And super cool, 100% did not think I was smart enough to do this, and went away with like, wow, this is cool. Why are we not doing this in school?
Well, basically, honestly, I do a lot of coding in the elementary with a program that I have, and that's block coding. And I also I run the website with HTML coding. They're both coding, and the coding that Madison and I work with, I've never seen before, it's Python. And Python is a great stepping stone between the block coding of the little guys. They just move blocks, they learn the progression and control and stuff like that, the computer science of it. And the Python is the actual language of it, and that's what Madison was learning to work with. And the Python, the program there, super expensive. What was it? Oh, yeah, free. Anyway, we put that on a computer already, and she's already been working on the computer, practicing her Python, her language. It's just a foreign language. It's, okay, go ahead. Give me the cool part. It was so fun. You could, but that just shows how you can hack the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, there was this, it was called the Markov chain. Again, it was with the coding. And you pull these different languages that this code program already knows, put it in, and you can, the guy that taught me said that you could write your code so that you could put, here's when the Cowboys play this team, they won by this score. When they played this team, they won by this score. You can put all the football teams and their scores that they've had so far into this program, and then push a button, and it tells you the odds of winning the Super Bowl and who's gonna be in the Super Bowl. Different things like that. So it was just another, he talked
It's
about.
back to the artificial intelligence. It's back to teaching the computer, like we did earlier. They're all linked together.
Yeah, and so that guy actually even like, he created a Twitter bot where he had these different languages programmed, and it sent out a tweet every day, and it was kind of funny. It just pulls different random words to make a sentence from like the Bible and from Harry
Nice.
Potter book and Dr. Seuss. He has all those books in there, and it just pulled random stuff, and it would send out a tweet, and it just sounded jumbled up and kind of funny. And then it sent out like a bad tweet of politics, and ended up getting the Twitter account shut down. And it was kind of a bad deal, I guess, but. And then the really cool one that I think our kids would love is the soldering we got to do. We ended up soldering this little badge where we, took the wires and lead and melted them in. And then once again, you related to the coding, you could code that badge. We played a game where we were supposed to go mingle and make friends. You took your badge and you held it up to their badge.
We have to push the button. We have to get up
Send
there.
information back and forth, and then they talked about how they could spread as a coder, you could put your little disease onto it.
They put a bug in
No.
the system.
I have this disease, and so when I go to give it to Mrs. Trask, now she's got it, she's gonna go spread it to all her friends, and it was just a way to show that there's bugs out there that you can get, I guess. but
That's a lot of, we went through trying to remember all the hands-on fun things that we did. And these things that we did, we brought most of that equipment home. We brought breadboards home, we brought rib pies home, we brought books home to teach the Python, all that stuff. And the resources that we got, they also had a session where they just gave us, you know, cool websites, cool activities, cool, you know, what you would expect to get at a regular conference. And we got that in just one session. You know,
yeah, I mean, we had to make lesson plans. Yeah, there was an escape room club that we found out about, if there's any students that are interested in this kind of cyber security stuff that,
it's worldwide, they don't have to come here, they can.
yeah, I think it's called Capture the Flag, where they have different missions they're supposed to accomplish and things like that, but we were required to make lesson plans and
We
you know,
did.
we were very smart. We made best friends with the Lennox Teacher of the Year. And so we got a bunch of her resources as well. That was
She
awesome.
shared them, she was happy to do that.
Yes.
But that was our camp, it was a full week, it was one of the most worthwhile free workshops I've ever been to. And both Madison and I did different workshops this summer where kind of learned the same thing, except, you know, added on or different than that, but this hands down was better. And next year, I don't know if we'll be able to go back, I'm assuming so, but we will definitely be sending kids. It's, our kids need to do that, I'm sorry, it's on the other side of the state, and we can take the bus.
I'm sure it'll need serviced. again.
Does anybody, do you have any questions about what we did, or? It was pretty darn cool.
We would love for you guys to tell your kids or other kids about this so that we can get a white bus full and take some kids, because I think that they
Almost
would
want
love
to
it.
come back to school.
I didn't
Oh,
want
it
to
was
do it.
so fun. I mean, we were soldering and they'd be like, okay, this session is over. And we're like, no, just 5 more minutes. No, you have to leave.
Okay, thank you, ladies.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Approve surplus items.
Okay.
I gave you guys a copy of the items that need surplusing, with your packet.
And everything except the treadmill for the special education, from the special education department, that basically needs to be thrown away. It's outdated, broken, whichever. But the treadmill for special education, we looked at it as possibly being surplus from SPED and going to the powerhouse. But it is a cheaper treadmill. It's not the heavy duty treadmill like you see in the powerhouse. So, you know, it's debatable whether we want to put it in the powerhouse or just sell it outright. We do have an interest if we want to sell it outright.
What about the spin bikes? Are we, how many do we have left of those? I was thinking there were
It's
like
got
a
2
few
here.
left.
They're broken.
So it's noted that he'd see if there's room in the powerhouse, so it's not like that treadmill is possibly needed over there then.
Well, and Chris is concerned about how much room is over there, plus the quality of treadmill.
Just
on
if
that.
it's gonna hold up over there.
Yeah,
I would think if you have interest to.
Yeah, I agree.
We need to do something different on the other.
well, we can. Yeah, motion to approve the surplus or,
Okay, let's do that first. Is there a motion to approve surplus items?
Make that motion.
Second,
I'll second.
motion in a second. More discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
so I will put the treadmill on our Facebook page on it and see what our best offer is for it.
Sounds good.
Okay,
Okay, we need to approve volunteer application.
Okay, as per district policy, we need to approve any volunteers for a sport. We have 3 gentlemen that have volunteered in the past, have background checks and so forth, but this is just to go through what the policy states. We have Trevor Anderson, Preston Eisenbrand, and Chris Bissett.
I'll make a motion to approve volunteer applications.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Open enrollments.
It's changed from 1 through 8 to 1 through 4 now.
So we need to approve 1 through 4, you say?
Yes. You want to look at them, or
We usually do. I do.
Mr. Ragland, do you have them, or?
I do, but I have more than 4, so I have to go through them. I don't have the ones to read it. Here you go.
So these are the what, 4?
They're in there, yeah.
So will there be more than these? Is that what you're saying, or you're just saying you have all?
Well, it could be. The open enrollment is open till the end of September, so we could have open enrollments at the next 2 board meetings. And after September, we can say no to an open enrollment, but if we have space or so forth, we can say yes. And then open enrollment doesn't open again until January.
But the ones that we aren't, that we just took off are not in there, is that what you're saying?
No, they're not.
Okay.
When did you say it opened?
Open enrollments now
Are these the only 4 for this year?
that we have right now.
We didn't have any there through the summer.
Well, we have our students coming new to our district, but they live in the district.
Okay.
So before they come here, you always go talk to do you talk to the other school when they open enroll?
No,
Okay.
unless they're coming with a suspension or an expulsion,
Okay.
we have no reason not to open enroll.
I just wonder, because we had that one before that we found out wasn't going to school. Remember that one, I think he said he was enrolled in Rapid City Christian.
Sorry.
No, and it doesn't matter.
We've had several say they've been enrolled and didn't show up. All that.
I'll make a motion to approve the 1 through 4 open enrollment.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay. Moving to 14, distance learning options for students.
Okay, we do not have an applicant for Big White, nor do we have an insurance quote on the damage. We know that we need a new roof, a new window, and replace the carpet, but we have not seen the quote. The insurance company's backed up. So I'm bringing up something that we did at Westington Springs, and I'm familiar with this, and that is that looking at the option of the student enrolling in our school district or currently enrolled in our school district. And we receive state funding for them, and then in turn, we pay for the online classes for them to take at home. The two accredited programs that we have to pick from are Black Hills Online or South Dakota Virtual School, or DIAL, which is under South Dakota Virtual Schools. The Black Hills Online is the only one that offers elementary through seniors, where the South Dakota Virtual Schools is middle school and high school. I sent out a proposal, if you were interested, that the students must reside or be open enrolled prior to July 1st. So this limits, students throughout the state just coming here. The decision to enroll in distant learning must be made at the beginning of the year. They are required to keep 95% of coursework completed by the end of the current school year. If we have a student that chooses a face-to-face classroom, or if we have a student that chooses to be online, but then at semester time wants to come face-to-face, that's fine. However, if they choose face-to-face in the fall semester, they can't go online. And the reason that is because suddenly you would have this new expenditure. Parent and administration will be responsible for monitoring the student involvement. We're looking at some young elementary students, so the parents need to agree to be a part of this. Students grades 3 through 8 and juniors will be required to come in the spring and take the Smarter Balance assessment, where that affects our participation rate. They are our students. The arrangements will be made with the school guidance counselor on when they would take it. And the online instruction, as I said before, is through the two accredited programs. I do have a memorandum of understanding from Black Hills Special Services, Special Services Cooperative, which manages the Black Hills Online. And in this contract or this memorandum, we will not be charged more than $3,250 per student taking 4 concurrent courses in the K-8 program. And we will not be charged more than $3,250 per student taking 5 to 7 concurrent courses in the 9 through 12 program. And this agreement will start July 1st on 2022 and will go through until terminated by both parties. Any questions?
Do you have somebody wanting to do this?
I'm going to contact the students that attended Big White, and I will contact parents of any other homeschool students if you approve this.
I'd like to know if we have interest before we offer it, I guess. I'm thinking, I don't know anybody else's. But
Well-
I need to look into it a little more. I apologize, I haven't studied it enough yet to really make a decision, but I guess I don't see what the benefit would be to opening that up without interest. So I guess we'll talk and see what parents say.
Well, if we don't
Unless you know
have,
otherwise.
if we don't have interest, then we don't offer.
Yeah,
You know, and I can tell you from my experience in Washington Springs, this is a resort that's not a popular one. You're not gonna see 30 kids jump up and say, well, I'm not coming to school this year. You're going to see the ones on a limited basis. When I was in Washington Springs, they had this set up for like, I think 15 years or more before I started. And there was families that chose to homeschool in the district that did not. In fact, there was only 2 kids that took this on, and they did halftime come in and did band and choir, and halftime they did the online classes as a cyber student. So
I think we almost have to, where we don't have Big White open. I mean, I don't really think we have a choice where, I mean, obviously we could, but at the same time,
I think it would be the right thing to do to offer it. I'm just saying, let's
Right.
see if there's interest. I mean, I don't think we need to go down the road if they're not.
yeah, if
coming out
there,
and saying,
if
"Yeah,
we
need
don't
something."
have interest,
We don't need
then
to go down the road.
we don't have to go down the road. I'm bringing this up because the next board meeting is September. And
Plus to give them a little heads up that maybe.
then we can start working with them and getting them set up with the programs.
Plus that there's probably not gonna be a school at Big White or an open school. Might want to give them a heads up there.
Yeah, I'm,
Looks of it, not this year.
So time, people could still apply, still have time.
But at least we have an option if we don't.
And we have done Blackfield's online learning with other students in the district.
It must be better than like what the school was when we had COVID.
it is, it's set up for virtual school. And the problem with COVID is one weekend you had to switch over. This is set up and designed, and we have students that take classes through South Dakota Virtual School on a regular basis here in the building. But the thing of it is, virtual school did drop their elementary education. That the Black Hills Online, that's been going, well, I was a teacher here when they started Black Hills Online. So this isn't a new program either. And it's run through TIE as well. So, you know, they've been time tested.
We need any kind of a motion on this, or we're just gonna go ahead and, and call the parents and see if there's any interest.
I would like a motion that that's what you want here.
I think it's almost.
Because of this memorandum of understanding, yeah.
Well, I make a motion to approve distance learning options for students.
I'll second it.
Motion and second, any more discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay. Approve 2022-23 rent prices. Amy, do you have some?
Yeah,
input there?
so since our last meeting, I have started to prepare the train reduce, or the National School Lunch Program application that we have to do every year. We don't have to raise prices. It's not a requirement of the state, but I did pull some numbers from our fund balance for our lunch program. And since fiscal year 19 till this fiscal year 22 ending, our fund balance has decreased about by 47,000. So with that significant decrease in our fund balance, we only have around 26,000 left of funds to use in our fund balance. So we need, in my opinion, and my recommendation is to raise the lunch prices going into FY23. What administration talked about was currently raising all the lunches about 20, or all the meal prices by 20 cents. So the K-12 breakfast would go up to $2. K-5 lunch would go to $2.50. 6-12 lunch price would go to $3.25. Now seconds would increase by 50 cents and go to $1.75. And then adult prices or guest prices would go up to $2.50 for breakfast and $4.25 for lunch.
What did you say 6 through 12 breakfast was?
It's K-12 breakfast is $2.
Oh,
It's the same
gotcha,
for
it's the
everyone.
same. Okay, sorry. And you said 320 for 6 through 12 lunches?
6 through 12 lunch is $3.25. Breakfast did raise by 25 cents rather than 20 cents. But all the other prices were by 20 cents. And seconds were by 50.
Maybe said this, the thing we had going last year is done.
Yeah, the last 2 years we've been able to offer free lunches for all, and that has discontinued by the feds. So we have to go back to charging meal prices, but just the way our fund balance is looking and the way food prices are right now, increase in staff pay, I mean, everything accumulates to why we've used so much of our fund balance in the last 3 years.
But we actually had a really good fund balance until, I mean, now we're looking at this year because we actually needed to spend money.
Right, in FY19,
2
we
years.
had to spend, we had too much, I mean, because the purpose of the lunch program is not to be a revenue for the district, it's not to make money. But it also needs to have enough money in there to operate. And so FY19, we were at a position where we had too much, and now we're at a position where we're really, I would hate for us to ever have to, because the general fund or the impact aid would have to supplement if we went negative.
And you're saying right now we have 26,000 as a balance in there.
Mhm.
Lynn's always been super good about.
Yeah, she's always really good about shopping around. I mean, and we're required to procure food so that's not like we can just go with whatever we want anyways. But she still does a really good job of looking at our different vendors for food prices. But I mean, food prices has just, I mean, we went over budget in food prices or for food these last 2 years. And it didn't help the free lunches because we weren't reimbursed at a rate that paid for how much we spent.
Sure.
Yeah, we need to go up.
So, and there are, I mean, we have angel fund money for those that can't afford seconds. We also are really gonna try to push families to apply for free and reduced lunch. The maximum a family can make to be qualified for free and reduced lunch has also risen, so more families will hopefully be eligible for those for free and reduced lunch, as well as our reimbursement rates for free and reduced lunch have also increased. So hopefully that will help as well, but milk hasn't changed. The price of milk that we pay for hasn't changed. So I wouldn't recommend changing. we pay 27 cents a carton and we charge 50 cents, so I would recommend increasing that.
I'll make a motion to approve the increase of the meals as indicated.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, 16, requests from member Simons to use personal email for communication to school.
I would like to use my Golden West account for my school emails.
I don't have a problem with it. Got a motion? Make a motion. Allow board member Simons to use personal email for school communication. Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion passes. Approve middle school Title I handbook.
It's nothing's really ever changed in that except for the dates of the parent teacher conference and when, we have report cards and end of the quarter, but everything else has stayed the same. Well, and that's what the Title I middle school and the elementary Title I handbooks.
Pretty much staying the same. Get a motion?
To approve.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes. Now we're at elementary, approve elementary Title I handbook. Or did,
That's the same as before.
same,
I'll make a motion to approve the elementary school Title I handbook.
I'll second that.
any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay. Committee reports.
Okay, budget negotiation insurance, I would like to have a committee meeting on August 31st. If is 4 o'clock, all right, that's the night of the open house. And so,
What kind of day is that?
it's a Wednesday, 4 o'clock.
Wednesday, 4 o'clock. All right. Same. We're gonna work. Long ways down my schedule. Right now it's looking okay. Anyone else got a problem?
Looks good.
Okay,
Okay, and then the building, grounds and transportation got postponed until next week at 6 o'clock. But I was gonna go over a contract, with that committee. And I realized sitting here that I made 2 copies of one of the contracts, so I'll just go ahead and pass this around and explain. Okay, there's a contract, one of these contracts is for the powerhouse and one of them is for this school building, and it's for our monitoring systems on our fire alarms. And in June, we had sensors that were going off and would not shut off, so we realized we needed to replace the sensors. So Chris got a quote from API and from Night Security. Then we started having sensor problem in this building. So instead of bringing this contract to you last month, I had Chris go and get another quote from API. And the reason API is because they were much cheaper in Night Security. I should back up a little bit. The last time this contract was signed with the security system, Dennis Riekman and Nikki Moore signed it. So We haven't had a contract quite a while. It just kept rolling over every year. But since these sensors are going bad, we need to replace them. And so we looked at both of these situations and we thought we were recommending this API because they are cheaper and as well as they are the ones that we call to repair any problem. So you take like March when we had that pump burn up, night security got, sent us the notification, but we had to call API to get it fixed. So this is basically going with the cheaper company and also cutting out it's more efficient to use. With this, $350 each building on setup. And it'll be $600 annually, and that's for the cell phone connection.
So it's 600 for each building then?
Each building, yep. Night security was, well, this one's $50 a month, night security was $60 a month.
We have that stuff, is that on the bus barn, like the whole powerhouse complex, or just the powerhouse itself?
That whole building,
Just the building, not.
the fires, not the,
Not the bus barn?
no, where people are, where there's boilers, where there's a lot going on, that's where we have the sensors.
We just need a consensus.
Yeah, we're changing contracts, if you're okay with
Will they
that.
have to update like anything in the buildings too then, or we're just,
They put their sensors on our fire equipment.
So is that the price of those sensors above and beyond this contract price then, or?
That's the $350, the
Oh.
setup.
that's the one-time charge?
Mhm.
I see.
And the 600 will be an annual. We've been doing that, we've just been doing it with night security.
Oh, so that expense has been there with night.
Yeah, we looked at both companies and Chris and I decided this would be the better route.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a problem with that, I'll continue on and get that updated before school starts.
We need a motion on that where it's a big contract. or-
You feel comfortable? Yeah, well, it's not on the agenda, but
Oh,
go ahead.
I'll move to approve that API contract.
More discussion? All in favor, say aye. Oh, same sign.
Okay, and I'm not ready to set anything up with the next three committees until we're done with the budget and the building meeting, so.
Okay.
Is there a way we can change the date we agreed to the next week, Wednesday?
17th.
Can we go like on a Monday? Or is it
Yeah.
set on Wednesday? I'll do it the day. Is that
What
what's-
time do you wanna go?
It don't matter to me. I think.
What time do you get home, Rich? I get home about 6. I can be here at 6. If you guys didn't.
No, I have, are you gonna be here, Amy, on the 15th? And if we have it in the evening?
Yeah, I'll make it work.
Or even, I can work around you. What works better?
No, that's okay. No, we can make it work. We're good. I'll just-
So the 15th.
15th at 6 o'clock?
Home right now, get reminded. Thanks.
All right. We ready for Mr. Sikora?
We're about halfway through summer school, and I want to thank you guys for approving the funding for that activity. And right now we have 20 students participating. For most of the time, the summer, what we do is spend their time preparing for next year. And the teachers have been coming in slowly and starting to work in their classrooms. I've been doing scheduling. And I've also been reviewing the crisis and reunification plans. The one thing that I've been reviewing in the crisis plan is currently we have on our website a link that will do anonymous reporting. And that has, most of the stuff we get for that is when's the football game and when do we start the powerhouse and that kind of stuff. And I came across an app from Sandy Hook Promise where people can call or make a report of a concern that they have. And Mr. Ragland and Mrs. Sundahl and I met over the phone with that group. And we got some good background, but I've also been in contact with Brett Garland from the South Dakota State Schools program. And he's provided me a lot of information on school security stuff. And he directed me to this web page or this app that South Dakota's come out, the Safe to Say. And it runs a lot like the Sandy Hook Promise program, and that's going to be launched, I think he said, in September, middle of September, end of September. So that's just one option that we've been looking at to come across. We're looking into if we consider going this route. But what I understand is this app can be attached to the web page, and if somebody contacts the number over the app, they get in contact with a person, and that's monitored by a trained person, so that if there is a real need or a real emergency, then they can direct them to some help. In our the way we currently do it, we don't have that option. It's an email that goes to, I think, Mrs. Sundahl, me, no, Dr. Pittman, you get it? Tracy, you get it? It's just pops up in an email that we got. Somebody edited it and then you just go and look at it. So that's something that we're looking, I found, and that's something that we might want to consider looking at in the future. That's the end of my report. If you guys have any questions.
Is this something that, like, teachers could, when they do their orientation and stuff, they talk to students about, or is this more for like, is that kind of a goal? Or is it like a community thing?
This app, it's
Yeah.
a community thing. It's gonna go on. So like if you see a student, your neighbors, for instance, as a student, and you see some concerning activities, we can call that, and the person on the other line will direct you or help initiate something. But with what we currently do, we're responsible for for directing them to wherever they need to go. But that puts that takes a lot of the stress off of us, and it gets directed to the police or to suicide prevention or the social services or whoever. And it's more time and manner. Because we have it, and this app, this one in the Sandy Hook Promise app, I monitor 24 hours. Where I've woken up at 5 in the morning and somebody had put something in the on our website like at 1 in the morning. That's 4 hours that was monitored. So. But we've never gotten anything concerning about child abuse or violence. It's all about when is the powerhouse going to be open? How do we get a key? And when's homecoming? And that kind of fun stuff. So
It's good you're proactive with this.
Yeah. It stays that way, but good to be proactive. Okay, thanks, Chuck. Middle school, high school principal report, Mr. Baker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Continuing to get things ready for the beginning of the school year. Last week, we attended the administrators conference in Sioux Falls, and after Chuck introduced me to Sioux Falls Canary baseball on a Wednesday night, Thursday morning, we had a chance to listen to Ruby Payne. And Ruby Payne really reinforced a lot of the emotional poverty and a lot of the social emotional things that we began talking about last year as a staff. And she provided us some great resources and some ideas for some things that we can do this year or try to do this year. So overall, I thought the conference was pretty good, and it just feels like Sioux Falls getting closer to me all the time as I'm learning this state. It just feels like it's right next door. So it's about all like that.
Who won the baseball?
They got beat bad.
You guys are bad luck.
They're bad, they're a bad team. I don't know how they keep going. They lose all the time and they don't have any fans.
Oh, there's franchises that do that. But the food was very good. Hot
Nice.
dog.
It's a building year.
Imagine chock
It's a
pot.
building year
We just kind of took turns.
or a decade.
Building decade with those guys, man.
Okay, thank you. 20, Amy, you're up.
All right, I submitted the FY 22 annual report today, so hopefully I'll be hearing back from the state on any corrections or if that was approved. And then the week of August 22nd, the auditors will be here for my FY 22 audits, so it's a good month.
Is that kind of early or?
Yes, I requested October and I got August. So
August,
it made me a little busier the last few weeks, so
right?
but that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. There's an editorial going out this coming week that talks about free and reduced meals. This is something that schools are struggling with because we need to get people signed back up for the program. We've had, 2 years of free meals, and now that's changed. But, I harped on my sister about signing up. She gave me the eye roll, but it is really important to sign up for this because it affects our Perkins dollars. It affects our title dollars, all that federal funding. They look at what percent of students are free and reduced. And if you take a look at what Kadoka received in ESSER funding and what we received, that's all based on that free and reduced percentage. So our Perkins funding this year, we bought a set of 3D printers. And I actually saw one of them at Sioux Falls last week. I really don't know much about 3D printers, but we do have blue and yellow or gold for the 2 types of plastic string. That's all I know. But, those kind of things we can purchase for kids. It's based on how many students. So by all means, spread the word. Schools are struggling to get people back in and get signed up for it. So it is something that we're going to advertise and push for. It will be available here. Paperwork will be available here at the office as well as at the open house. And it also, those that qualify for free and reduced lunch, the insurance on your laptops is waived at this district. So.
And the applications are confidential. I'm the only one that sees them, so.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even see them.
So.
Very confidential.
And you don't have to do it. If you qualify, you don't have to do it, but it still counts.
Yeah.
For us.
Yes.
Is the Perkins Fund, do they have requirements on what you spend that money on? Or
Yes.
is it just kind of?
No, it has to, we have to, like the 3D printers, we had to align it to our technology and our ag. Mr. Holben went to the leadership retreat. That didn't qualify for Perkins. However, Mr. Champagne and Mr. Hogan went to the CTE conference and those expenditures are covered. So it's about how much professional development and
It's not all about school supplies. then.
no, and it has to go to a CTE program. I can't take the 3D printer into my office, that kind of thing. It gets its own sticker tabs and so forth. so. But, you know, that percentage, and I also write that percentage down on grants. And, you know, when I'm applying for grants, they look for schools with high needs. And I, you know, anytime I wrote a grant here in Dupree or in Wall, while I was a teacher, you know, I really had to write and stretch. In Dupree, where it was 100% free and reduced, I just kind of scribbled on it and got it. You know, it really is a very, very important number for school districts. So by all means, you know, if you qualify and still want to pay lunch tickets, we're fine, we'll take your money, that's fine. But it is a very important number for our federal dollars, so. And then our open house will be August 31st, 5:30 to 7 o'clock. Families, community members, we invite anybody if they want to come just look at the school and any changes going on. If they haven't been in here for a while, that's fine. Kids can put their stuff in their lockers, meet their teachers. We'll have different things, you know, if you want to sign up for Infinite Campus and so forth, we'll have that available open house night. So I have 2 more instruments that are fixed up from Haggerty's. It's just that I'm not going to Rapid this week to get them. So I will get them sooner or later as I travel through. I took the cut across coming back from mom and dad this weekend. I wasn't gonna mess with the biker rally, so. Going to the economic development meeting a couple weeks ago, there is a grant opportunity, matching grant with economic development. And one idea that I tossed out there was looking at, see if we can hook up with a technical college and put together a CDL class. Lake Area VOTEC does have an online CDL class, and see if we can work out some kind of community event where people, you know, we provide the bus, somebody provides the, and get people tested. So, you know, getting a CDL now is a little more trickier. We have some more kids that are gonna be turning 18. We're gonna have community members that interested in CDL, so we'll see where we go with that. So, let's see here. After that, we're ready for school, I believe. Best we can. We do have a candidate for the para position that Mr. Sikora and I'll be interviewing on Monday, I believe. Yeah, so any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We don't have a 22. Any other? Meeting adjourned.